guys, we are back for George's Secret Key to the Universe, Chapter 18. Today I have a bunny that used to belong to my grandma for a long, long time. So my bunny is going to join me for the story today. Alright, so the boys, Ringo and all of his buddies, are with Dr. Reaper. Dr. Reaper's laboratory was clearly divided into two parts. On one side, a strange-looking chemistry experiment was in progress. Lots of glass balls were linked to other via glass tubes. One of the balls was connected to what looked like a miniature volcano. Most of the volcano fumes funneled upward into the glass ball, but from time to time little wisps of them leaked out. Gases poured from one glass ball to the next, eventually ending up in one large ball in the center. There was a cloud inside this last ball, and now and then they saw sparks flying around. There's a lot going on in that picture. So, who wants to go first with the questions? Asked Dr. Reaper, excited to have an audience. Ringo sighed. Sir, what's that? He said, pointing to the large chemistry experiment. Aha, said Dr. Reaper, grinning and rubbing his hands. I'm sure you remember the wonderful rotten egg stink you smelled when you entered the house. Well, do you know what it is? Rotten eggs? Piped up Tank, feeling happy he knew the answer. Stupid child, grumbled Dr. Reaper. You'll have to try harder than that if you want to become a scientist. Think, what could it be? Such an easy answer. The boys looked at each other and shrugged. Don't know, they all murmured. Dear, oh dear, sighed Dr. Reaper. Children today, they really do know nothing. It is the smell of the earth, billions of years ago when there was no life on it. Well, how are we supposed to know that? Moaned Whippet, but Dr. Reaper ignored him. This isn't a real volcano, obviously, he continued, pointing at the small homemade volcano which had smoke erupting from the crater at its top. Crater's like a big hole. Yeah, like obviously, murmured Ringo. I mean, like we hadn't noticed that. It's just a little chemical reaction that emits the same kind of fumes. Emits means lets off. Dr. Reaper enthused, seemingly unaware of Ringo's rudeness. So I made it look like a little volcano with mud from the garden. I very much like it. The fumes from the volcano puffed upward into a glass ball, where they mixed with water vapor. This came from another glass ball in which water was being heated over a gas burner. When they mixed together, the fumes and vapor formed a little cloud inside the large ball. Dr. Reaper had built a device inside that cloud that produced electrical sparks. So there you can see the ball with the electrical sparks inside. As the mini volcano puffed dark smoke upward, a little crackle of lightning shot across the cloud inside the ball. Dr. Reaper tapped the glass gently. You see, when lightning strikes clouds of gas, strange reactions occur, and scientists have discovered that these reactions can sometimes lead to the formation of the most basic chemicals that life on Earth needs. These chemicals are called amino acids. But why? Said Whippet. What do you want them for? Because, said Dr. Reaper, a sinister look crossing his face, I am trying to create life itself. What a load of garbage, said Ringo under his breath, but Zit, sounding more intrigued than his leader did. Sir, he said thoughtfully, there's lots of life around us. Why would you need to make some more? There is on this planet, replied Dr. Reaper, giving him an approving look. But what about on another planet? What about another planet where life has not yet emerged or come out? What would happen if we went there and took life with us? Sounds a bit stupid to me, said Ringo. If we go to a new planet, there won't be anything there. so there will be nothing to do. Oh, unimaginative boy, cried Dr. Reaper. We would be masters of the planet. It would be all ours. But hang on a minute, said Whippet, somewhat suspiciously. Where is this planet, and how are we going to get there? All good questions, said Dr. Reaper. Come and have a look over here. He walked over to the other side of the room, which was covered with a huge picture of space and stars. In one corner there was a red circle around a couple of little white dots with lots of arrows pointing at it. Near the red circle was another circle drawn in green, except that the green circle seemed to be empty. Next to the map were whiteboards covered with diagrams and crazy-looking scribbles. There seemed to be some kind of link between the scribbles and the star poster. Dr. Reaper cleared his throat as the boys gathered around him. This, children, is the future, he said, waving his hands toward the crazy scribbles. Our future, I expect, he continued. You have never given a moment's thought to what I do when I'm not teaching you at school. The group nodded, agreeing that no, they hadn't. Okay, here's a picture of Dr. Reaper talking to the boys and all the scribbles in the background. So let me save you the trouble. I, Dr. Reaper, drew himself up to his full height so he towered over the boys. I'm an expert on planets. I have worked all my life on planets trying to find new ones. Did you find any? Asked Whippet. I found many, replied Dr. Reaper proudly. But don't we know them all, like Mars or Saturn or Jupiter? Asked Whippet again. The other boys nudged each other. Who? Whispered Tank. Who'd have thought it? Whippet's trying to be teacher's pet. No, I'm not, huffed Whippet. It's just interesting, that's all. Aha, said Dr. Reaper. You are right. We know all the planets that are around the star closest to the Earth, the star that we call the Sun. But I am looking for other ones. I am looking for planets that are around other stars, planets that are very far away, you see. He continued, enjoying having his class, or a few of them anyway, actually listen to what he said for a change. A planet is not an easy thing to find. I have spent years collecting data from telescopes, and I have looked at hundreds of planets in space. Unfortunately, most of the planets we have found so far are too close to their sun, making them too hot to support life and be habitable. Habitable means we can live there. It comes from the word habitat. That's not going to help then, is it? Said Whippet, sounding disappointed. Dr. Reaper pointed at his star map. But wait, he said. I haven't told you everything yet. Out there in space are extraordinary, fantastic things. Things that until now we have only been able to dream about. But the time is coming when all of that will change. When man will go out across the cosmos and inhabit the whole universe. Just imagine, boys, if we were the first to discover a whole new planet. That's like that TV show, said Zit cheerfully, where everyone gets on a spaceship and goes to a new planet where they get eaten by green aliens. No, it's not like that at all, snapped Dr. Reaper. You must learn to distinguish between science fiction and science fact. This planet here that I have found, his finger traced the red circle drawn in the corner of the map around the white dots, could be the new planet Earth. But it looks like this new planet is pretty far away, said Whippet doubtfully. Yes, it is, agreed the teacher. It is very, very, very far. So far away that if I had a phone conversation with someone there, I would need to wait several years between the time I ask a question and the time they reply, just because of the time it would take my question to travel there and their reply to travel back. So we learned about the speed of light, right? How fast the light travels. The speed of sound is much slower. Did you talk with him on the phone? The four kids said in unison. No, 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 said Dr. Reaper in an annoyed voice. I said if I had. Don't you understand anything? But is there anyone out there? Zip persisted, hopping from foot to foot in excitement. That's hard to tell, said Dr. Reaper, so I need to get out there and have a look. How are you going to do that? Asked Ringo, who was feeling interested now in spite of himself. Dr. Reaper gazed into the distance over their heads. I have been trying all my life to get into outer space, he said. Once, I nearly made it. But someone stopped me, and I have never been able to forgive him. It was the greatest disappointment of my life. Ever since then, I've been looking for a way, and now I've got another chance. That's where you boys come in. Dr. Reaper reached for the letter in his pocket. Here is the letter that we spoke about in the driveway. Take it to George's friend. His name is Eric. Drop it in his mailbox and make sure no one sees you, said the teacher as he handed the letter over to Ringo. What's in it? Asked Ringo. Some information, replied Dr. Reaper. Information is power, boys. Always remember that. Facing his star map and pointing with his burned hands toward the red circle drawn around the bright dots, he said. And the information contained in this letter is the space location of this amazing new planet Earth number 2. Whippet opened his mouth to speak, but Dr. Reaper interrupted him. Drop off the letter tonight, he said, cutting short any questions. And now it's time for you to go, he added, hurrying them back out into the hallway. What about the cash? Asked Ringo sharply. When do we get our money? Come and see me on Monday at school, said Dr. Reaper. If you deliver the letter, I will pay you handsomely. Now go. Wow, interesting. I wonder what is in the letter. What's going to happen? I forgot about Dr. Reaper's burned hands. I'm wondering if they're going to tell us how he burned his hands. Okay, that's the end of chapter 18, but this chapter was full of facts. So we're going to go back to page 160 and read about the early atmosphere. So the atmosphere in Earth is all the air and everything around the Earth that protects us. So this is talking about the early atmosphere, which was a long time ago. The Earth's atmosphere hasn't always been as it is today. Were we to travel back 3.5 billion years to when the Earth was only 1 billion years old, we would not be able to breathe. Today our atmosphere is made of approximately, that means about, 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 0.93% argon, so less than 1%. The remaining 0.07% is mostly carbon dioxide, 0.04, and a mixture of neon, helium, methane, krypton, and hydrogen. The atmosphere 3.5 billion years ago contained no oxygen. It was mostly made of nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. But the exact composition is not known. What is known, however, is that huge volcanic eruptions occurred around that period, releasing steam, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and hydrogen sulfide in the atmosphere. Hydrogen sulfide smells like rotten eggs and is poisonous when used in large amounts. Okay, so then the next page, page 162, has Miller and Urey's experiment. So in 1953, two scientists named Stanley Miller and Harold Urey were working on the origin of life on Earth. Origin means the beginning. They believed the ingredients for life could appear out of completely natural phenomena in the Earth's early atmosphere. At that time, in the 1950s, scientists had an idea about the kinds of chemical compounds the early atmosphere probably contained. They also knew that lightning was frequent, so frequent means it happened often. So Miller and Urey conducted an experiment in which they stroked these chemical compounds with electric sparks. Sounds like Dr. Reaper's experiment. To mimic or copy lightning. Astonishingly, they discovered they had created special organic compounds. Organic compounds are molecules that contain carbon and hydrogen. Some of these molecules, like the ones called amino acids, are necessary for life. Miller and Urey's experiment produced amino acids and gave hope to the scientific community that it may be possible to create life in a laboratory. Today, however, more than 50 years, so now we're looking at 70 years, After Miller and Urey, such a creation has yet to be achieved, and we still do not know how life appeared on Earth. So scientists have been working to try to create life, and they can't figure it out. Some of you probably have some ideas of why that is. But we have been able to create, under special circumstances that mimic conditions on Earth a long time ago, more and more of the basic chemical building blocks of life. So they can create things that life is made of, but nobody can create life. Okay, the next one is page 166. This one is talking about exoplanets. So we talked about planets and dwarf planets. Now these are exoplanets. An exoplanet is a planet that revolves around a star other than the sun. So it goes around a star, but it doesn't go around the sun. So far, more than 240 exoplanets have been detected in space, and new ones are discovered every month. This may not sound like a lot in comparison to the hundreds of billions of stars that are known to exist within the Milky Way alone, but this small number is mostly due to the difficulty of detecting them, of finding them. A star is easy to detect because it is huge and it emits light, whereas a planet is much smaller and only reflects the light of its star, kind of like the moon reflects the sun. Most of the techniques used to detect exoplanets are indirect, meaning that the exoplanet is not seen directly, but the effects of its existence are. For instance, a big exoplanet will attract its star via gravity and will make the star move a bit. This star movement can be detected from Earth. 169 exoplanets have been found this way, and these are really big, much bigger than Jupiter, the largest of the giant planets on our solar system. So they notice that a star has moved, and then they're like, ooh, there might be an exoplanet there, and so then they investigate and find out. So they're looking for evidence to show them that there's one there. The Kourou satellite, launched in December 2006, is able to detect tiny changes in the amount of light shining from a star. Such changes can occur when an exoplanet, even a small one, passes in front of a star. The quality of the detectors Kourou is equipped with should allow for the discovery of exoplanets much smaller than before, down to about twice the size of Earth. It's still bigger than Earth. We have not yet seen any Earth-size exoplanets. So if a exoplanet would go in front of its star, right, it would create a shadow, kind of like if you walk in front of a light, right? You block the light for a second. The little rainbow-shaped thing says only 4 exoplanets have been detected by direct imaging, like by taking pictures so far. And these ones are actually super huge. Okay, so lots of interesting facts. And that is the end of chapter 18.